Let me start recording. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This is our 15th 2021 Parent Power Group. My name is Rebecca Dabbs. I'm the health educator with the Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center. I'm very happy to be here. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center has been around since 1990 and was founded by Myrtle Rump in honor of her son, who was tragically killed in a drive-by shooting. The center provides free after-school care and summer programs for students aged in grades 3 through 12 in the South Los Angeles area, as well as supporting their community and having programs such as the PPG, the Parent Power Group, every Monday night. Our workshops are presented in partnership with the Green Foundation and other donors, and you could review those on our website at wootencenter.org/donors. So like I said, every Monday night, tonight we have Mr. Keith Parker, and next week we're going to have Breathe South Los Angeles with us talking about the dangers of vaping and talking to your youth about vaping and being safe against that. Like I said, tonight we are all about supporting for our fathers. Mr. Keith Parker is the director of the Project Fatherhood with the Children's Institute. We are very happy that you're here with us, sir. Thank you for spending your Monday evening with us. I am going to stop sharing and turn it over to you. Let you do your thing.
Well, great. Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you for all the work that you and the Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center is doing for our youth in the community. And I know how important it is for youth to have a place to go that's safe and secure, right? There's so much going on in that community. I was a director for an organization called Community Building. We had a youth center right there on the corner of Vermont and 89th, 88th, right? So it was the only safe zone for the kids. But the challenging part was our building was on one corner, and across the street was a liquor store. And across the street from the liquor store is a pawn shop. And then across the street from the pawn shop was a marijuana dispensary. So these kids really didn't have any avenues other than the youth center to be able to come in and just be kids, right? Just be kids. And I don't think we really think about that as adults, and especially when we're talking about the city and having businesses on these different locations. You're creating chaos. You're creating petty crimes where people can go in and break into the house because they know there's a pawn shop right around the corner that'll take those goods, and then they take those money and then go to where they need to go, and that cycle just continues. So thank you for the work that you guys are doing. So once again, my name is Keith Parker, and I'm going to share my screen. And welcome, parents. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's always great to see other parents just getting, and I'm hoping just to be able to plant some seeds, and that we can all water together and watch it grow, and watch it grow. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Okay, can everyone see that?
That looks good, sir.
Okay, great. So Keith Parker, once again, director of Children's Institute and Project Fatherhood. I've been with Children's Institute for 2 years and 8 months. It'll be 3 years in November. And how did I get to Children's Institute and working with fathers? I've been doing a lot of work in South Los Angeles and in the Watts and the Compton area and the housing developments in Nickerson Gardens, Imperial Courts, and Jordan Downs, and on Vermont. And they also had an office on Degnan and Leimert Park. So we're really good working with youth and mothers. A lot of programs when you're talking about providing services for families, a lot of times it's for mothers and children. I had gotten really great at working with the youth and the mothers. And then I had experience with a young man who I had mentored, who was the same age as my son, and kind of brought him up through his his early years and his teen years. And then about 3 years ago, he was murdered. He was murdered the night before Mother's Day. On the Mother's Day Eve, he was murdered, and I got a call from his mom telling me that he had been shot. He was in the hospital for a few days. I did get the opportunity to go see him, but he passed shortly thereafter. And all I remember is that he just wanted to spend some quality time with his dad. He just wanted to spend time with his dad, and his dad was going through his own challenges. So I was able to help and support him as best as I could. But he just wanted to be able to have that quality time with his dad. So I took some time off from community build working with youth. It was a couple months, and I said to myself, I said, God, I need to do more. What can I do? I said, I really need to begin to work more with fathers. Because I truly believe that when fathers and men are involved, we can change our communities overnight. And out of the blue, he shared with me Project Fatherhood. Like I said, I've been working with youth, and I knew about Project Fatherhood for many years. I just hadn't had an opportunity to really be able to go and work with them and do some of the wonderful work that they were doing. So the opportunity presented itself. I took advantage of it over 2 years and 7 months ago to come on board with Children's Institute and Project Fatherhood. So in 1996, Dr. Herschel Swinger introduced Project Fatherhood to Children's Institute and to the world. Over those 25 years we've been providing services to fathers, we've served over 25,000 fathers and their children in the Los Angeles, LA County, and metropolitan area. The first round of funding almost 25 years ago was where Children's Institute and Dr. Swinger was just truly an outstanding man, knew that how important it was for fathers to be actively involved in the lives of their children. And he knew that we had to create a program that focused specifically on dads. We're wired a little differently, so we need some things that really will grab our attention. And just hearing from the experiences from other fathers of what they were going through and how important it is for them to be involved in the lives of their children. So he set up Project Fatherhood, and we've been going strong for over 25 years, serving fathers and their children. Research shows that 19.7 million children are growing up without fathers in their homes. That's 1 out of every 4 children are growing up with fathers not in their home. And those kids are more likely to grow up in poverty, more likely to commit crimes, more likely to drop out of school, more likely to go to prison, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, and more likely to have behavioral problems. This is not what I'm saying. This is what research and science is saying, and has been saying for a very long time. We need to figure out how to engage fathers and support fathers and welcome them to the table and make sure that fathers are part of the family and just not in addition to the family. At the ground level, from birth, what role do fathers play and how do we get those fathers involved? And that's what we do with Project Fatherhood at Children's Institute. So this current program, and this is our 4th year of funding. So every round of funding, the scope can change a little bit, not too much, but there's some changes in the scope of work that we do with fathers. And that's based on improvements from what we've learned throughout the country. There was $75 million set aside for fatherhood programs throughout the country that has been distributed all over the country to do fatherhood work. And when our former president, 44th President Barack Obama, had a call to fathers to be engaging and be intentional. Nothing major, just be intentional in the lives of your children. And that was the rallying call to get fathers more actively involved. Um, so this round of funding was really focused on how do you build a comprehensive fatherhood program that builds and strengthens the relationship of father and their children. We focus on three main areas. One, healthy relationships. Every father goes through our curriculum, and we use this curriculum called 24/7 Dad, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. That they're able to get these tools and resources that they need to understand what it means to co-parent. Talk about co-parenting and what this looks like, and how to be involved in the lives of your children. Responsible parenting, and we talk about the roles of a father in the family. What are your parenting responsibilities? What are your father responsibilities? And then we talk about economic stability, right? Father's foundation is work. That's what we do. A lot of times that's what we bring to the table, our economic component of how do we as fathers be able to provide and protect for our family. That's not the only thing that we do, but having an opportunity to put food on the table, a roof over the head of your children and your spouse, clothes on the back. Those are things that we as fathers and men take pride in doing. And we're able to help fathers with this new round of funding where we added a job-driven component where we assist fathers in terms of finding employment for those fathers who may be underemployed, unemployed, or just looking for another opportunity. We assist them in that particular area as well. So our target population are fathers, expecting fathers, and father figures. That's grandfathers, that's stepfathers. I've heard the term bonus dads, mentors, coaches, and just men just standing in the gap to support these kids and young folks in these communities. So we look for fathers and those father figures who are at least 18 years of age with children or mentees under the age of 24 will make you eligible for the free services, and everything we offer in our program is free. So father figures 18 and older with children under the age of 24 years old makes you eligible for our program. And right now we're doing everything virtual. So our base is pretty wide in terms of who we can serve. In the past, we served strictly in South Los Angeles area, but right now we're spread it out a little bit more to compensate for COVID, and so that we can connect with more and more fathers within Los Angeles in Los Angeles County. So our four core components, right, is the 24/7 Dad workshop. That's our primary workshops that we share with fathers. There's 12 topics, and I'm going to cover a little bit about those topics in the next slide, where we have a foundation, and it's an evidence-based curriculum that we use that fathers are able to walk away with a set of tools that they didn't have prior to joining Fatherhood. And no one is perfect by no stretch of the imagination, but with more tools, it allows you to be a little bit more impactful with yourself as well as with your children, when you can add some different tools to your tool belt. I know a lot of times for men, especially for me, a lot of times the only thing I had in my tool belt was a hammer. So everything looked like a hammer and nail to me. So I just pound and try to force everything in the way that I knew how to do it. But when you begin to increase the tools in your tool belt, now you have a flathead screwdriver, you have a Phillips screwdriver, you have a wrench. You have some different tools that you can use on different situations. So you no longer have to hammer everything in. You can make some adjustments because now you have the tools to make those adjustments. It's not that we're better dad than anyone. It's just that I may have some additional tools in my tool belt that you don't have. Just an example, I had my first big screen TV that I had to hang. I had no idea how to do it, and I didn't have all the necessary tools to do it, but I got it done. It took me several hours to get it up, but I did the best I could with the tools that I had. And then the next one, I had someone who had all the tools, and that's what they did, hang TVs. So he was able to come in within 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, and have the big screen TV up. Not that he was a better hanger than me, he just had all the tools that went along with some of the things I didn't have. So as I began to get those different tools, you become, more impactful. And then we talk about an employment component, helping fathers in that employment arena. We have anywhere up to $750 that we can support fathers in getting them prepared for the job market. Whether that father needs to buy a new pair of boots, he needs to buy some tools, he needs to pay union dues, or if we have fathers who are entrepreneurs who may want to start their own home-based business, we can help them with getting their license to make sure they go legit, as one of the fathers said. And that's what we do, try to support fathers in those particular arenas. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and you have to really know what works in that community that you're working in. The fathers will let you know, and we just do a good job of listening to what their needs are to be able to support them. And then we also have a program called FDIC. We also do financial literacy, where we actually are supporting fathers in just understanding the basics in terms of financing, helping fathers get checkings and savings accounts, helping them to understand what credit is and how to use credit. And when you borrow money, what does that look like? And long-term and short-term savings and plans. And they can go online with the FDIC money management for adults. It's allowed to go online and it's free. And you just go through the course. And then we also compensate fathers for doing it as well. Right? So you go through a certain amount of modules and then you can earn gift cards, $25 here, $50 there. It's not a lot, but it can help to tie in some loose ends when you need it. And then also you're actually learning some different tools that you can pass down to your children. So also on that site, it's money management for young adults as well. So if you have a young adult in your life, you can actually have them go through the young adult portion while you're going through the adult portion. And then we have what we call our parent and child enrichment activities, where we're really trying to create opportunities where fathers can engage with their children, being really intentional around that work. So one of the activities that we had was at December time, we had gingerbread, Operation Gingerbread decoration and build, where we actually sent gingerbread houses to all the fathers in that program, and they on Zoom built these amazing gingerbread houses. There was a lot of problem solving going on. As you know, when things get shipped, not everything comes fully intact. So we had a number of the gingerbread houses that were received by fathers, had some broken chimneys and some broken roofs, but through some problem solving, fathers and their children were able to persevere and decorate and create some truly amazing houses, gingerbread houses. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to create these moments that create memories for a lifetime, right? A lot of times the kids, when you're talking about your experience with their dad or in their home growing up, it's not necessarily always pleasant. So we want to just make sure that we're intentional in what we're doing and just supporting fathers and being involved in the lives of their children. And we do monthly activities to be able to do that. And we're really intentional about that quality time. There's no ifs, ands, or doubts about it. It works. And kids will talk about, I can remember the things that I did with my dad. And it was five boys. But I still remember my individual time when I had with my dad and what he taught me and what I was able to learn and be able to just go back on and reflect on. And those moments, like I said, they weren't big, but they create a memory of a lifetime that I can continue to go back and reflect on. So the curriculum that we use, once again, is 24/7 Dads, and it's a 12 weeks parenting support group where it's 2 hours per week for 12 weeks. And we run our groups based on when dad's available. So right now we have groups going on in the evenings from 6 to 8 because many dads work. We have a group going on in the afternoon from 1 to 3. And we're looking at actually possibly adding a Saturday group as well based on the need. If there's fathers who are working during the week and can't get away, but see value in what we do, we can create this program to support those fathers. In the past, we've served over 300, 400 fathers a year. Unduplicated fathers, and they continue to come back because what Dr. Springer created with the Project Fatherhood was an opportunity and a space that was safe, secure, and consistent, where fathers could really take off that Superman cape and peel back some of those layers that they've been going through and just be themselves and get to know themselves and who they are. And that's created in that groups that we do weekly with our fathers. And we have those different topics. So we talk about family history. We have fathers maybe pull back some of those different layers that they may have experienced in their life to help them figure out how they got to where they are. Thinking about what their father may have gone through and what are they passing down to their kids that they've learned from their fathers. Have they broken the cycle, or is it the same thing that his father passed down to him, that his father passed down to him, that he's now passing down to his children? Where does the cycle break? What have we learned? And research has shown there's a lot of things that we can do differently that can change the course and the trajectory that kids are on today if fathers are involved in learning a little bit more about why they are and what they did and how they got to where they are to be able to do some reflection points. To say, okay, that term is, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's some good things that was passed down and some things that are not so good that we will no longer want to continue to do. So we begin to have those conversations and we create this space. So each group is about 12 to 15 fathers per group. And we have 2 facilitators who co-facilitate the group so that we're making sure that we're hearing the needs of all the fathers in the group. Then we talk about what it means to be a man, right? That definition of manhood continues to change as we continue to evolve. And at one point in time, it was the father just going to work. Now, to live in Los Angeles, it's a 2-parent going to work income to be able just to survive here in Los Angeles. So what does that look like? What are those roles that men are now taking on that they've never had before? We did not do a lot of the nurturing part. It was really the nuts and bolts of just being the provider and protector. And we're starting to understand, Risha says, fathers, that kids need us more than just that, right? Because what we do, they will pass down to their kids, pass down to their kids. And we've learned just a lot of things that we can do differently to make some changes. We talk to fathers about showing and handling feelings. And what does that look like, right, for fathers? We do a good job of covering up so much pain and trauma that we go through, and then we end up taking it out on our loved ones because we've never learned how to communicate how we truly feel. Most men, when you ask them how they feel and what they're doing, they're either okay and there's nothing going on. What are they thinking about? Nothing. But when you're in that group with these fathers and you begin to create that space that's safe, secure, and consistent, and when they begin to talk about how they feel and there's no judgment in the room, and fathers begin to break down based on what they may have been experiencing and never had a space to be able to do that in the past. And then not one father in the group tells a father not to cry. Let it out, man. Just let it out. Let it out. We're here to support you. Words that most men never hear. So we end up taking it out on the ones that we love, and we pass that down to our children. So creating a space that allows fathers to be able to dig down deep, pull back some of those layers, and begin to start the healing process. You can't heal what you don't know. So we help fathers with that process. And then fathers who may need some additional support, CII has a trauma informed, and we have therapy, and then we pay for that for fathers who don't have Medicare to support them if they need some one-on-one time to just continue to work through some things. they're part of the group as well. We talk about men's health, right? Men's health. How often do we talk about men's health and fitness and what's your blood pressure, cholesterol? Remember, for me, I want to put some years on the back end with my son, right? So I'm walking in the morning. We just did a huge event, fatherhood movement, where we had fathers from all over the country walking, and the goal was to walk 10,000 steps in an hour and a half. And out of all 485 participants, we took 3 million steps on June 19th, just for our health and support. And then we also did meditation, we did a morning meditation in Nickerson Gardens with fathers, sitting in the gym for the first time for many of them ever meditating. And I was sharing with them how I got into meditation. I took an opportunity because there was times when you worry so much about anxiety. I was worried so much about what was going to happen tomorrow that I never really got to enjoy today, and what meditation has allowed me to be able to do and be currently present right here and right now. Then we talk about communication and what that looks like, and how listening is so crucial in terms of communicating, and what are you saying, and are you saying what you want to say, and are you relaying that message to the ones that you love in a manner that they can receive it. So it's one thing to say it, but you also have to relay it to them in a manner that they can receive it and open. And you have to be willing to just listen to what other people are saying as well. The roles of the father, we talked about how the roles of fatherhood change, right? So there's so many different things now that fathers are expected to do that we didn't do in the past. And so we give them some of those additional tools to support them in those particular areas. We talk about discipline, right, versus punishment. For so long, we use punishment as our go-to strategy to get things done for our kids. And by sharing with fathers that you can get the same results from discipline that you do with punishment without the necessary harm and trauma that we continue to cause on our kids because we don't know another way. And we learn to be patient. And what discipline teaches us to be consistent and be clear. And when that person is not clear, just come back and restate it and get their buy-in as well. It takes a little longer, but the results are so much more rewarding in the end because we're beginning to break that cycle. We talk about children's growth and what that looks like, right? A lot of times as fathers and as men, we expect our kids to be able to do things that they not necessarily are able or capable of doing because we don't understand those different developmental stages that kids go through, and talk to them about those different steps, and we give them handouts so they can look at when their kid is from infancy to 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 5 years, 15 years, what those different stages are going to look like and what you can expect and what you prepare for what your son or your daughter is really capable of doing. And then you have some exceptions every now and then. You'll have a few kids that really stand out, but for the most part, the developmental stages for kids are going to be consistent, as we know that the brain develops from the back to the front. And when kids are making those irrational decisions, it's not that they really want to, it's just that part of the brain hasn't been developed. So the reasoning goes out the window. The risk taking is really high. So that's where we as parents are really important for us to really understand where we actually fit in. So our kids can have that experience, but it's not life-threatening as well. We talk about getting involved, and like I said, it's really important that you be intentional. And we share that with fathers and with myself and my son. I'm intentional in his life. If I got 2 hours to go and watch a Laker game or Clipper games or watch a football game, I can give that same amount of time to my children. And am I giving that time? Right? And how are you giving that time? When was the last time you sat down and had a meal with no TV, no cell phone, just an opportunity to sit down and talk? I grew up in a household, there was 7 of us, my mom and dad and 5 boys, and we were loud. So at the table, it sounded like everybody was yelling. We were just talking, but it was great times that we had. And now that I think about it, and I miss those opportunities, and I try to create those with my son to this day. we're just spending some intentional time together and just being involved in his life wherever that may fit, where I fit in. Not knowing that it is his life, and my job is to really just provide that foundation and be that role model or that model of folks that my dad was like a compass in the wilderness. He laid the foundation and gave us a guidance. We would have figured out how to get out of the woods sooner or later, but with him being that foundation, it was a much shorter path. And that's what we want to do for our kids. We want them to have some experiences. They're going to bump their heads, but we want to make sure that they're not spending so much time over here in left field or right field, and that they're staying on course and going right down the center. Working with and co-parenting and what that's like. And I had to go through it when I divorced my son's mom, or when she divorced me, however it went. But we had to learn how to co-parent. Right? When we began to really understand it's important for us to focus in on him and not us anymore, things began to really change for us. And I think we were better friends today than we were when we were going through what we were going through, because we really focused in on our son, who I think is an amazing young man who's 19 and doing extremely well. Is he perfect? By no stretch of the imagination he is, but he was able to give, and he's still getting the best from both of his parents.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
I apologize. I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. There is a little bit of feedback. I know that you had your headpiece before. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just want to let you know.
Is it better if I'm a little closer?
Yeah, it does sound a little bit clearer. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to put the headphones on earlier. For some reason, it wasn't working. But if we need to redo this again, we can do it as well. But the co-parenting component was really huge. That I had to learn. I had to learn what that was like. My dad and my mom were married for 50 plus years, so I didn't really know what that was going to be like being a part-time dad, or not having my son and living with me full-time like I did with my dad. But we were able to work through it in different stages. And then dads at work. And what does that look like for fathers who work? And how do we support those fathers with our groups, working with their children and all those good things, and helping fathers to understand how important it is, and also to be able to do some self-care for themselves as well, taking some time for yourself. And then we do also at the end, there's this checklist called the 24/7 Dad Checklist, where you have an opportunity to just check out each day. How was I as a dad today? What did I do? What intentionally did I do today for my children, for my wife, for my significant other, for my spouse? And you get an opportunity to just check those off, see how you measured up in terms of, as a father, and as a husband, and as a dad, and as a boyfriend, as a mentor, as a coach, and all those little things to check some of those boxes off on a daily basis. So, and once fathers would go through the 24/7 Dad curriculum, they had an opportunity to continue to receive support by joining what we call our merge group. So the merge group was the original Project Fatherhood program, was very open-ended. And the cohort in the 24/7 Dad is more of a cohort model where you start together and you end together. So you go through 12 weeks. But in our many relationship group, we call it merge. You're able to join at any time and come back at any time. So we've had fathers who've been with Project Fatherhood for 7, 8, 10 years because they still find support and benefit of being in a group setting and sharing some of their current experiences with other fathers who are walking down some of those same paths that they did in the past. And as you can tell from some of the topics are pretty similar to what the 24/7 Dad curriculum are. We talk about child abuse and neglect. We talk about loss and separation. That's one thing that as young men, we don't do a good job at talking about when we lose someone, and that separation and the anxiety going along with that, and what that experience is like, and having someone to talk to and share that about. We talk about punishment and discipline, child development, domestic violence, substance abuse, communication, and rites of passage from boyhood to manhood. I tell folks all the time, just by biological and maturation is you will become a male adult just by living. But becoming a man, there's some processes that you will go through, some things that you will learn and need to learn to take you to that next level of being accountable and responsible and consistent in what you're doing as a boy to a man. And then choosing a healthy mate. And we talk to fathers about relationships, right? We talk about this person and that person, but you are the person who continues to choose this person. So what are you looking at in the relationships? What are you basing that on when you're making these decisions about getting into a relationship? Have you thought that through? The person that you're choosing, is that going to be the right person for you and your children? Are they compatible? So all those things we talk to fathers about, just thinking it all the way through. We're not here to make any decisions for you. We're just asking you to think through that process. And we tell fathers, we don't provide you with any advice. We share our own experiences. You share your experiences. And through sharing, there are a lot of, I call them nuggets, that people can walk away with and begin to change certain things that they do in their life that can make an impact. So we know when fathers are involved, it's a game changer. And Dr. Swinger really understood how important it was to be able to have these topics, be able to create a space that was safe and secure for fathers to be able to share so they can become the best. And like I said earlier, I am the best. When I am physically healthy and mentally sound, I am at my best. And when I'm at my best, my son gets the best me, and he deserves that. And your children deserve that from you as a parent. And just being able to get those tools that can support and assist you in doing whatever it is that you choose to do. And so these are just some of the enrichment activities that we spoke about. Gingerbread house, counting with dads and bingos. We also did Valentine's cards, baking with dads. We made Mother's Day cards. We made Father's Day cards as well with the kids. Really just being intentional to be able to create these moments that will last for a lifetime. So those are just some of the highlights of the program, and that we continue to grow and continue to expand. So when fathers are part of Project Fatherhood, there's some support and additional support to the groups that we offer. Incentives, right? Because we do surveys with fathers and we compensate them with a gift card for participating. Because we're constantly trying to improve what we do with our program, and we learn from fathers, and we want to compensate you for that. It's not a lot, it's a gift card here and there, but what it does, it allows us to learn from you so that we're constantly improving our program and that we're providing the best program to fathers, right? The only way we can do that is by talking to fathers and hearing what works for fathers. And we've learned about things that do work and things that don't work. So we're constantly looking at opportunities to do that. And when we're in person, we offer childcare. Dr. Swinger did not want any father not being able to come to group because he didn't have anyone to take care of the kids. So we have someone on staff when we're in person that you bring your kid to the groups, and we provide them with some of the same resources that we're providing the fathers with. And he was really strategic about that because he understood that drive from home to the group was a one-on-one time with the dad and the child. And then he understood that drive from group back home was a more one-on-one time. Their fathers and children had an opportunity to talk about that experience in that group when they drove home to really begin to continue to connect, and how the children were making friends from other children in the group. And they were more excited about the groups and reminding fathers about, hey, Dad, it's Tuesday night. We got Project Fatherhood, and they had their own group meetings as well. And then we also provide transportation. So fathers were unable, did not have a car. We can provide Uber or Lyft if they were on bus passes. And if they needed gas cards, we can also support them with gas cards. And we always provided a meal when we were in person, because we were doing it during dinner time for a lot of fathers. So it was an opportunity to fellowship and break bread and really have an opportunity just to have some dialogue and to share. And then different resources and different linkages that fathers may need in terms of housing resources, family law resources, jobs, opportunities, and whatever fathers may need based on what they needed, we were able to develop a really extensive resource base that when fathers said, hey, I'm looking for this. My wife is having a baby. We need diapers. We need a stroller. We need a bassinet. I need a car seat so that I can take my son back and forth from my house to his mother's house. We provide all that stuff to our fathers for free based on their needs. And we have some tremendous partners. The Good Plus Foundation, which was founded by Seinfeld and his wife, and they support us in the work that we do. So diapers and strollers and wipes and car seats and all those things that we need, we can get those to fathers for free. And then we also have additional funding and food opportunities. And in the tough time during COVID, we were able to support pretty many fathers with gift cards or fresh fruits for some of our other partners, and clothing, help with utility bills and rent, and just a lot of things to really help. It's a family, to help our family get through whatever they're going through, to help us make it to the other side as a unit. And Dr. Swinger always said, once a father, he said, once in Project Fatherhood, always part of Project Fatherhood. It doesn't change. It does not change. You can come to us today, 6 years from now, 10 years from now, and hope we'll continue this for another 25 years. Where Father will have a space, they know, on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday nights from 6 to 8. There's always a space for Project Fatherhood that they can go and a group that they can join to just plug back in and just check in to see what's going on and how things are happening. So we have groups right now. We're wrapping up 4 groups right now, and we're getting ready to start another group in 2 weeks, and then one more group leave in August. Our contract runs from October to September. So we're in the tail end, and we're going into the 4th quarter of this year's contract. So we'll be just doing a few more recruitments for groups for our July and our early August group, and then the next group will start again in October with the next round of funding. But we're here to support the work that you guys are doing, and just to support fathers, because we know when fathers are involved, it truly is a game changer. And these are some of the different head sites within Children's Institute where we're able to pull a lot of our fathers, because we know we have this 2-generational model. We call it the 2-gen, where why not just work with those families who are receiving services right here at Children's Institute at an early age, and get them involved and get their fathers involved and get their mothers involved, and get the community involved early. So we kind of target those specific sites, but we don't exclude any father for participating in Project Fatherhood if they see and feel there's a desire and a need for them to be able to get these resources that we offer for free. We offer the same services to every father, and we are continuing to grow and expand. And Dr. Swinger truly believed, he said that Project Fatherhood should be on a corner like a McDonald's. And I don't think he meant that literally, but there should be a program in every community that support fathers. And what we're doing is just really continue just trying to build our network, build our base. And for those fathers who are not in that area, there may be another program that does what we do, or at least can offer the fathers some support. And we're here to support those organizations and those groups as well. Because when fathers are supported, fathers physically and mentally healthy, they're at their best. And when they're at their best, the kids, it's a win-win for the kids all the time, because they're getting the best parent that they can possibly be and sharing that information. So that's our direct line to my office. Even though we're in COVID, it rings to my my cell phone, so there's always somewhere we'll answer the phone myself, and I'll share that with my care coordinator. And the referral process is real simple. It's just a father who wants to support, and then you complete a referral form, send that over to myself or my team, and then we'll contact that father within 24 to 48 hours, share more about the program, and see if that's a good fit. It's not a good fit for all fathers, so we understand that. But for those fathers, it is a good fit. We welcome each and every one to be a part of the work that we're doing. So, Rebecca, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but if we have some time left, I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions.
Yes, sir,
So
absolutely.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
That sounds great.
So, I don't know, Rebecca, if there's anyone who has any questions about Project Fatherhood and opportunities, or any concerns or questions that you may have, I will do my best to answer each and every question.
Yes,
Hello,
thank
Keith
you.
Parker.
Hello.
This is Alberta Moore. And I was just so impressed by your presentation. And there are quite a few of my friends that are on this call right now, so they could tell you that I have shared your information on all my platforms. And I think it's something that, you know, even in the high school arena, I think there is an opportunity to share information about your group, because so many families, unfortunately, because of their histories, there hasn't been an opportunity for fathers to develop the skills that they need. And I think this may be one of the first generations that the opportunities are there. And so I'm just so excited about it. I took down your number because I'm part of another group that we have to give away some resources. And I thought, your group will be great, because then the fathers can, give the things that we're giving away to their kids. Because sometimes just getting a little something from your father is everything. And I know those fathers that can't give, that's one of the hardest things for them. So I definitely appreciate you being here, and thank you for taking the time to give us more information about your program so that we can spread the word.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Moore. You're more than welcome. Yeah, we're here to support any and every endeavor there is. And like you said, a little goes a long way. We were in Nickerson Gardens on June 19th. We had a bunch of diapers and things that we gave to fathers. And one father came to us just crying and said he's never had an opportunity and never had the money to give anything to his daughter. But it was just free stuff that we wanted to give to fathers to be able to go and then speak and look at their kids in their eyes and say, hey, this is from daddy. It may not be a lot, but this is what I have to offer. And I tell fathers, it's not about the money. It's about being there for those kids and being available. So Rebecca, also, if you can get everyone's t-shirt sizes, I have some Project Fatherhood swag I want to drop off to you so that you can give to everyone. Project Fatherhood bag and some t-shirts to give away as well. So we do branding. We want to make sure that everyone knows about Project Fatherhood, and the best way to do that is get parents involved and get them some swag so they can walk around with Project Fatherhood. And when folks
That is so wonderful, sir. Thank you for your generosity. If you would like a wonderful t-shirt from Project Fatherhood and the Children's Institute, please put your name in the chat box with your size. And Mr. Parker, I will send that over to you tonight as we close off, so you have that. And thank you very much. That's very generous of you.
And Rebecca, can we drop those t-shirts off to you and you can get them to everyone, or how would that work best? What do you think? What do you recommend?
I believe probably it might be best if they pick them up from the center.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be the best way to go about it.
Okay, so I'll get them to you and then you can coordinate with everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do we have any other questions for Mr. Parker, our speaker tonight on Project Fatherhood? Carol, please come off mute. Carol, you're on mute. Go ahead. We can't hear you. If you are having difficulty asking a question, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll be happy to ask on your behalf. Oh no. Carol can't unmute. So if you want to type your question in the chat, if you have that option. And while we wait, Mr. Parker, I was very interested in how the program is very holistic. You're getting them on so many different avenues, from discipline to also their emotional and mental health. Can you talk a little bit about the meditation? Because that was just such a amazing addition that I think it's really valuable, how that's received by the parents.
Yeah, it's truly amazing because once fathers started and they really didn't understand what meditation was, and I was just sharing with them how for me meditation was it allowed me to be present in this very moment. Not because you worrying about tomorrow is not going to change anything. Repeating what happened yesterday, all it does is takes away from what you're doing right here, right now, and just being silent in the moment and then just being in tune with who you are, and that experience alone begins to de-escalate a lot of the stress that you're going through, and being able to settle yourself, right? And that's what that's what we want to teach our kids. But if I can't settle myself, how can I teach my son and my daughter how to settle themselves? So this is just a tool that I use myself to be able to just ground myself and not making everything a federal offense. It happened. Right? It happened.
It happened. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's move on. What lessons that were you supposed to learn from it? And have you learned that lesson from that? And then you have some time just being able to reflect on that. It's just truly amazing how I start my day with morning meditation because it sets my whole tone for the rest of the day. And fathers have been truly amazing. I'm hearing from fathers and talking about how they're meditating and they're passing it on to their kids and being able to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm.
That's really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. It's definitely a practice I don't use, but I know the value in it. And I just like that you're introducing it to the fathers and sharing the value in that. It's really, like I said, hitting them on every angle to be the best that they can be. So thank you for sharing about that. Mr. Casey has a question. Sir, you could feel free to come off mute.
Good evening, everyone. And it's not necessarily a question, more so a comment. I just wanted to say it's such a beautiful thing to hear that's happening. And I just want to figure out what can I do. I'm not a father yet, but I do teach students, and I want to see what can I do to become a part of such a type of movement. Just the whole 9 yards of it. And I would love to talk to you. I don't know if this evening or tomorrow will be better, because it's so many things that you're doing that I'm trying to do that I feel is going hand in hand.
Absolutely. You can take my number down. That the number is my office number, but it brings directly to my cell phone. So 213-260-7604, and I'll put it in the chat as well. You can call me anytime tomorrow. I hit the ground running at 5 o'clock. So I get up and do my morning meditation. I get my walk in, and then I start my day.
Absolutely.
So if you want to call me early, we can talk while I'm walking. My first meeting tomorrow is at 9, I believe.
Okay.
But just check in with me, and if I'm available, we'll chat. If not, we'll set some time up to just sit down and just talk.
Definitely.
Sit down and talk, man. You are a father figure by what you're doing, and that's what we're talking
Absolutely.
about. You are
Absolutely.
you will be amazed of the impact that you're having on young folks. They may not tell you now, but in the long run, man, it pays dividends.
I
Just
appreciate
having
that.
someone like you in that space that kids can say, it's grounded, Mr. Casey. Yes,
Definitely.
right.
Definitely. Absolutely. I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate your time. And definitely tomorrow we'll be talking.
Okay, sounds great.
All
And
right.
Mr. Parker,
Yeah.
do you have an email?
Oh, yes, I do. I can put it in the chat. It's K Parker at Children's Institute, but I'll put it in the chat as well.
Mr. Parker, I went ahead and put your number in the chat along with the Children's Institute website
Okay, perfect.
address. But if you want to put your email, that would be great. And I have a comment here from Miss Carol. She says it's a really great presentation with a lot of valuable information, and fathers play a critical role that our children need no matter the age. Isn't that the truth? And wanted to ask if there are any requirements for signing up.
No. You can sign up at any time.
I love it.
That's
an easy answer.
Yeah, we knocked down all barriers, all walls. We'll figure it out. That's what I tell them. We'll figure it out.
Is the best way to sign up to go through the website?
Oh, yes, or call. So if you call that number, and what will happen is I'll get a voicemail or something, and my care coordinator will call you back and then set up an opportunity to share a little bit more about what the work that we do, and then set you up for an intake and then get you going. So, like I said, our next group starts in a couple of weeks, and then we may have one more group starting in August, and then we'll shut the groups down from new enrollments until October, because we want to make sure we have enough time to get everybody through those weeks. So we may have to double up. When we start groups in late, like July and August, we kind of double up so that we can get them through those 12 different topics, because they're so powerful, and it gives you the confidence. I know it does for me. And even though I'm the director, I still facilitate groups because I'm still learning. I love the work. And just being there with fathers is so truly amazing, because I truly believe when we get fathers and men involved, we can change our communities overnight. And I'm not saying mothers and women are doing a great job. You guys are doing an outstanding job. There's something about us dads, man. When we come together, we can make things happen.
Mr. Parker, you said it. I cannot wait to talk to you, because that right there is a key. I feel it's a key of fixing the Black community. And I really feel that once we tie this element in, man, we got it.
Oh, yeah. And I'm excited about being a part of that.
Absolutely.
Well, Mr. Parker, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Your passion really comes across in your presentation. I know it's different being in a virtual environment, but you're getting everyone excited, and the program just speaks volumes, and it's led by somebody who's leading with his heart, and it shows. And we really appreciate you being here tonight. Lots of thank yous on the chat, lots of great presentations. So I want to thank you personally and on behalf of the Wooten Center, and say thank you for spending your evening with us and sharing this great information, and for your generosity with our t-shirts. So I will be sending you an email later this evening once I get everything together, and you could drop that off, and we'll coordinate with our participants tonight.
Right. And also I'll be more than happy to do a fatherhood movie group. So if we have fathers just from your organization that want to come together, we can do a group with those fathers as well, specifically for those dads.
That is wonderful. Thank you. And I'm definitely going to share that with Miss Naomi, because I think that that would just be so beneficial to the community at Wooten and getting them on every angle, right? We got to help those kids every way we can. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here tonight. And as always, you know, as your COVID-19 health educator, I just want to put out some reminders for you all that I'm sure you all heard that Los Angeles is requiring masks for indoors, regardless of vaccination status. So please wear your mask, put them in your car again, put them in your bag again, put them in your pocket when you're leaving out. And just as reminders to protect yourself and others from COVID-19, your mask has to be worn properly, right? It has to cover your nose, it has to cover your mouth. It can't come down here. It has to be form-fitting, like it can't be loose because you're actually still exposing yourself. It needs to be clean as well. So if you got those washable ones, throw them in the wash because we're back at it, getting over this hump with the Delta variant. We want everyone to stay safe. If you have any questions or need more information, please visit publichealth.lacounty.gov/coronavirus. And they're still testing. Vaccines are still available, free, accessible. Take advantage of them. Be safe, please. And if unfortunately you or your family, a family member do come down with COVID-19, there's support services from one of our wonderful donors, the Green Foundation. They are providing financial support for food, utilities, rent, whatever you need. No questions asked. You just send them your positive COVID results to info@thegreenfoundation.net, or you could give them a call and ask them what resources they have available at 323-229-3411. Thank you all for joining us tonight with Mr. Parker. As a reminder, next week, the vaping trend clearing the air. We have a health educator from Breed, Southern California coming in, talking about the dangers of vaping and how to talk to your kids about avoiding the nicotine habit. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Be well, be safe. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Take care.
All right, thank you. Enjoy it. Be safe. I'm also going to send you guys a Project Fatherhood face mask as well as a bonus.
Ooh, bonus. Bonus. That's the real winner right now. Thank you, sir.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. See you next week.
Yes.